Good afternoon, everyone. Steve Georgie here from Allendale's Trading Floor. It's September 6th. Interesting trade today. We did have corn up about 7.5 cents today. Beans unchanged, or down just a half. But wheat, 24 cents higher in the wheat. That's where the story comes in. That's why corn was supported today, mostly due to wheat. A big tender put out by Egypt, 475,000 tons, went to Russia, Ukraine, and also Romania. So it was a good purchase, a big purchase. I think it was more unexpected than anything as far as the size of it. A lot of nervousness around this. We've talked here for the past few weeks of Russia potentially halting exports. Now they're talking about, and the market concerned with, are they going to run out of wheat? So we were higher today, up about 24 cents. Mostly because the market is still looking at this time frame for wheat. We don't really have a lot of buyers. We don't have a lot of exports, but we typically see that pick up again in December. Now that we're seeing these other tenders come out there, and now concerns continue to build for Russia, maybe we're going to move that up about a month. Maybe we're going to see this come back in November. But the wheat was the big story today. Big tender out of Egypt. Guys looking for wheat. And had gotten the market excited. We'll see what that does today or for tomorrow. A lot of times we see this big run-up in wheat. Next day, they end up selling it off again. So be careful with that. I do feel the grains overnight, we might find a little bit more of a pullback. Corn ended up trying to get above $8. It did briefly, closing at $7.98. Corn is still in a range, down to that $7.90 area, on up to about that $8.10 to $8.15. But we're right now kind of in the middle of that range. But just kind of seeing lack of interest here on the long side with hardly any news. We're getting into harvest right now. Guys are getting in the fields. We're only going to see that build here and become or see that harvest pace pick up as we go through the next few weeks. That's typically looked at as a little bit negative right now, but we'll see what happens. We do have, so far this week, we've had a few guys come out with projections as far as yields. We're going to have another one here tomorrow from another firm. That may be a market mover as well. But we'll see what the market reacts like. Still in a range there for the corn. Beans, on the other hand, very quiet day today, light volume, so very light trade for beans. Not showing much direction right now. But the charts are still friendly. The trend is still up. And you've got a lot of guys still looking at beans into next week, this USDA report next week, looking for beans to have some tighter ending stocks once again. So on pullbacks right now for beans, you are finding some support. So that may continue as we get into next week. Some of the outside markets, choppy day for the dollar. The dollar was back and forth of unchanged, down about 15 cents right now, but not giving much direction. As I mentioned, we've been back and forth. And I look for that to continue here as we get into tomorrow. Crude oil, down 56 cents. Now, crude oil is very interesting today. 94.80 is where we sit right now. We're $2.90 off of the highs. So we started off the morning very strong. But we saw this selling come back in and continue to push this thing lower. If we do take out this lower 90 area, and we finally break through that, we could see crude oil and the energy markets back off even harder. But as of right now, we're going to find some support at a little bit lower levels, but a big reversal today for crude, so continue watching that. As far as cattle, down about 15 cents, 126.15. Box beef, though, pretty strong. We've seen a whole string of stronger box beef here over the last several days. Choice up about 1.11, up $1.11. Select up 77 cents. So we are finding some support there from midday prices. But we're just chopping around. We're still waiting to see what's going to happen as far as the cash. So we're still waiting on that. We're expecting to see some steady trade this week to maybe even higher. We'll see. It surprised us last week. But, we'll see how that plays out here tomorrow, but still waiting for cash to trade. Hogs, a little different story. Hogs down $2 today, 71.65. Taking out the lows in that October contract looks very negative on these charts at this point. We're still waiting for this market to maybe find more of a seasonal bounce from here. But I think today you had a lot of guys just giving up. The charts are taking out lows, taking out support. continuing to push lower. Still finding huge numbers showing up right now and continues to put pressure on these markets. Iowa, Minnesota today was down again during the midday prices. Was sharply lower, and that had everybody still having that negative attitude and continue selling that off as well. The cash market, cash hogs have been down about $16 in the last 11 days. So significant break there as far as the cash markets. A lot of guys are thinking right now maybe we're not going to see this bounce, this seasonal bounce that we've had in the past, and what guys are waiting for. But the close today very negative in hogs into some new lows. That doesn't look friendly. The trends are still down, so we still have to look for rallies right now as selling opportunities. Give us a call over here with questions that you have at 800-262-7538, or check us out on the web at allendale-inc.com. I hope you had a great day today, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.